See what I'm wearing? I'll down a little bit more. I maintain the right. That's from the 307th Engineer Battalion, 82nd Airborne Division. Hooah! All the way, sir. Airborne, look, there's my PT shirt. You don't think I just found this? I could have found it in an old box at somebody's house after I went through it without them knowing I was there, but that's not how it happened. This is part of my uniform, and I only wear it because it's time. I bring something up about veterans. And how much that poor guy dislikes him. I don't know if I wrote a date down when I saw this. I thought about it. There it is. It was Saturday, the 20th of July. This thing came through that I saw where that poor guy, I'm going to say his name, Trump. Oh, demon just got his wings. He is filing suit against Michigan, and I've only heard it one time since. It might have been yesterday or the day before. I heard it again. Nobody is talking about this. He's suing the state of Michigan because legally they can register people to vote at a VA clinic. So people that are coming in for their medical attention or to sign up for VA benefits or whatever they've got going on, they get there and they can be asked, are you registered to vote? And they might say, well, no, I'm not. I never cared before. But it seems like I at least want my number written down. I mean, we may not be people here anymore, but Bob Seger's song about feeling like a number, it sounds a little bit better now than it did before. At least they'll know what the people were saying. And the guys at the counter say, well, we can sign you up right now. And it's like, okay. So now that poor guy is getting mad and filing suit. One of these stupid lawsuits that he goes nowhere with, but he gets noticed on TV, which is interesting. It's not getting noticed so much right now because it's a really bad idea. This guy, see, the one old friend of mine from the 307th, he's down in Ohio there. He tried to tell me that poor guy did more for veterans than anybody else ever has. And I'm like, wow, I seem to remember somewhere in December at the end of his time, he decided to just shut down and go home rather than sign the paper for the oil pit fires, the PAC Act or PAC, whatever it was. I remember back then when he was still president, and I'm like, you fucker. Because that applies to me. I'm not going in looking for help. I won't even answer their fucking papers when they send them and ask about my symptoms because I'm like, I tell you I don't have any symptoms, you're going to use that against me later and say it's not pre-existing or something like that. Who knows when this stuff's going to come out in me? I think it already has. Look how strong it made me. Faster, stronger, better than ever before. You call this sick? I call taking cancer to your advantage. But so now he's saying he's the one that calls people that die in war losers and people that join suckers. Everybody's a sucker and a loser. And he did more for us than anybody. That's bullshit. And it's one of those things that he says. See, that's the problem. When you run into trying to have an argument, a conversation with somebody about one side versus the other, all they have are the repetitive lies that he feeds them. They say, I make my own decision. Why is it you're saying exactly what you saw on TV him saying, and your neighbor's next? Why is it you're all walking around like this, and if there's somebody else in the room, they look at you and say, how do you feel about it, Archie? And you look at them and you're smoking your cigarette, watching these fuckers talking, and you look about 2018 and you say, I don't buy into any of it. And they just shut up. They get quiet when they're not around people that they think support them. They're so tough. They have to be. It must be difficult living in that kind of fear every day that somebody might call you out on something. So, yeah, he calls veterans suckers and losers, and now he's suing Michigan because veterans are being encouraged to vote. You would think he'd want to know how veterans are voting for or against him. Maybe he'd change his ways and help out a little bit if he thought there's a part of the American people that I'm not giving enough to. Ha! He just doesn't want him around because he knows he did nothing for us. There's a very small amount of people, and there is almost no pulling them back from now what I see. They're going to be a problem. But there is really no one that is a veteran. I don't want to say no one. Everybody says everyone knows, but I don't think it goes to his benefit when you look at veterans and their idealism. The only people that are even with him right now that were veterans are non-combat veterans, the way I see it, because they just can't get over that they didn't go to war. They don't get to tell stories about it. I got stories, but I didn't care about going to war. I got lucky getting to go to war because I come back and I watch all these suckers whining and crying and acting like patriots, like they didn't get enough. They don't know what it's like to leave their home and then come back. It's like Walt Whitman said, you can never go home. But these people, they think they're going to start a goddamn civil war down the street and think they can walk back to their house. Their home is never going to be the same. Those neighbors that we don't even look at each other right now, oh, well, we do look, but we don't talk. They're not going to be able to look at each other anymore. So that poor guy is suing the state of Michigan because the veterans clinics are allowing people to register to vote. And how can you hold that against them? I mean, look at not all these people that are veterans. Some of them are disabled. They don't have time to go to the Secretary of State office in Michigan. It's like the DMV, most other places. They don't get to go there and wait in line and sign up. They don't want to sit in a wheelchair somewhere they don't have to go. Why not give them the opportunity to sign up where they're going? Every time you hear somebody talking against somebody's ability to register to vote, you can guess which side it is that's doing it. That poor guy is screwing you, airborne, all the way. Hooah.